You open your eyes and realize you are no longer on Earth. Your breath is the only sound, breaking the absolute silence of the cosmos. Red dust gently hits your bright and protective visor. Today we will explore exactly how the first human Martian mission went. The truth is much harsher and more fascinating than any movie. It all started with an exhausting journey of exactly 7 months. The confined space and zero gravity tested the human body to its limits. The astronauts' muscles became weak, despite their training inside the ship. Then came the terrifying descent through the extremely thin Martian atmosphere. The heat shield reached infernal temperatures, forming a giant fireball. Computers took total control for those 7 minutes of terror. Any small calculation error would have meant absolute disaster. Giant parachutes suddenly deployed, slowing the fall towards the rocky surface. Thrusters ignited at the last second, kicking up a massive red cloud. The impact was harsh, but the ship remained completely intact and safe. A profound silence followed inside the small spacecraft cockpit. The crew waited for hours until the terrible storm passed. The moment the hatch opened will remain forever engraved in human history. The first step on Mars was not easy because of the suit. The reduced gravity created a strange floating sensation with every movement. The view was completely alien, a vast desert lit by a pale sun. But the astronauts had no time at all to admire the scenery. Survival depended on quickly setting up the main habitat and panels. Cosmic radiation is the greatest enemy on this dead planet. Mars lacks a strong magnetic field to repel the harsh solar radiation. That is why the first bases were partially buried under Martian soil. Autonomous robots had already prepared some infrastructure before their arrival. Power was provided by compact nuclear reactors and solar panels. Resources had to be managed with strictness similar to a bank's budget. Every drop of water was immediately recycled, purified, and constantly reused. Even sweat and moisture from breathing were collected by vital systems. Bringing supplies from Earth is an incredibly expensive process. The long-term solution was hydroponic farming in controlled environments. Plants provided fresh food and essential psychological support for the crew. Potatoes and algae became the basis of the human diet on the Red Planet. Psychologically, the deep isolation was an immense challenge to overcome. Communication with families had a delay of up to 20 minutes. There was no possibility of having a normal, real-time conversation. Any medical issue had to be solved only with the base's available equipment. Astronauts became doctors, engineers, botanists, and explorers all at once. The main scientific mission was searching for traces of ancient Martian microbial life. Billions of years ago, Mars had giant rivers and oceans. Researchers dug deep into the ice at the poles of the Red Planet. Extracting water from the soil became the absolute priority for future survival. Outside work was exhausting due to the pressure inside the spacesuit. Global dust storms could completely block the sunlight for months. Solar panels became completely useless during these extreme weather events. The crew had to limit power consumption and strictly ration everything. This strict discipline saved the mission during the most critical moments. Any minor mistake in the hostile environment could lead to fatal consequences. Mental fatigue was clearly visible on the faces of these brave space pioneers, but the geological discoveries made were absolutely fantastic and truly revolutionary. Humans found rocks proving the past existence of immense ancient lakes. Each collected sample was worth far more than its weight in solid gold. Flying drones explored the deep canyons where humans could not reach. The Martian landscape revealed massive craters and extinct volcanoes of colossal size. Olympus Mons is the largest volcano in the entire solar system. The base was gradually expanded with highly resistant new inflatable modules. Special 3D printers allowed building tools directly using the local red dust. This dramatically reduced the dangerous dependence on earthly supply ships. Thus was born the first independent human colony beyond planet Earth. People began adapting to the rhythm of a Martian day. A year on Mars lasts almost twice as long as our Earth year. Looking at the dark sky, Earth just looked like a pale blue dot. This fragile perspective completely changed the way we understand life. The first teams paved a safe way for future generations of colonists. The total costs were immense, but the scientific reward was priceless. We learned to produce oxygen directly from the carbon dioxide-rich atmosphere. Special devices clearly demonstrated that we can breathe using local resources. However, the challenge of returning to Earth remained extremely extremely complex and dangerous. The return rocket had to be fueled with propellant produced right there. The flight back was marked by the joy of a completely successful mission. When the astronauts touched the Earth's ocean again, the whole world cried. They proved that humanity can transcend the boundaries of its home planet. Now, the Martian bases are permanently inhabited by the international community. The next generation might be born directly on the Martian surface. Making the red planet completely green remains our final and absolute dream. This process could take thousands of years of technological work, but the first step, the hardest of all, has already been taken. This experience shows us how important it is to protect our planet. Mars is a silent lesson about a destroyed and irretrievably lost climate. Today we look to the stars not just with curiosity, but with real hope. The story of the first humans on Mars is just the beginning of our great journey. Humanity's next destination is already waiting silently in the dark of outer space.